You know what UNC finally is again? They're the hunted. They are the team that would be the pelt on the wall of their opponent rather than reverse. The last time UNC entered a game as the simple and plain, like you're looking at it, that's the better team in the matchup, was JMU in week 3. And they lost that game 70-50. Every game from that point forward has been a game where it's like, well, they're similar, or the flip side. Hey, UNC is going to have to pull off an upset here. Now, credit to them, and I've given credit to Mac Brown for keeping the team together through some tough times. Credit to them. They battled back. They've built their reputation back. They've built some expectations back. They're bowl eligible. They're going into this week against Boston College, and if you looked at the two teams, you would go, UNC's the better team. BC has had their problems, right? Benched a quarterback. That quarterback left the program. Bill O'Brien's up there trying to establish something, and it's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 4 steps back. It hasn't been linear. They have their problems. UNC walks in as the hunted rather than the hunter. They're not trying to slay a dragon. They are the dragon. And while the mindset changes, right? It's no longer nobody believes in us, nobody picked us, right? You hear a lot of college teams. Actually, it's a college social media team, like their marketing department. Gosh, if College Game Day picks the game that you're playing in and everyone on the panel, everyone at the desk picks the other team, then you win the game. I mean, it's right out of playbook. Like, the first play you do is take that screenshot where they all pick the other team. You put it out there immediately after the game and say, like, thanks for the support. It happens 100% of the time. You show that bulletin board material. Well, hey, Vegas has us as a 10-point underdog. This analyst said we can't win this game. That analyst said this quarterback's going to pick us apart. It happens every single week somewhere around college football. UNC doesn't have that now. They're not going to be able to play in the team meeting on Friday the clip of somebody on ACC Network going, I expect Boston College to win this one going away. Like, they don't have that external motivation. You have to find it within yourself. So your mindset changes. The game plan, best not change. The game plan stays the same. And guess what that game plan is? Omarion Hampton. Omarion Hampton. Boston College is middle of the pack in the ACC at stopping the run. And good, but not great. Donovan Ezeraku, who we've talked to at ACC Kickoff, is a beast out there at rushing the passer, but their run defense doesn't have that same kind of elite stud that's going to be in the NFL someday. So if you're anything less than elite at stopping the run, Omarion Hampton is licking his chops. That offensive line is frothing at the mouth. If you're anything less than one of the best teams in the country at stopping the run, UNC should walk into that game like Apollo Creed. Just all confidence and bravado. You should walk into that game not hoping but expecting to be the dominant unit on the field. Omarion Hampton had 40 touches last week. 40. 4-0. I'm not saying 14. I'm not saying 40 over 4 weeks. I'm saying he had 40 touches, 35 carries, 5 catches, 250 some odd or 60 some odd yards, 260 total yards.
Yeah, I can't count that high.
That is dominant at volume. There are actually, we'll talk about your Steelers. I was talking yesterday about Jaylen Warren, the backup running back for the Steelers, who scored last night, had a good game in the snow. It was a whole Thursday Night Football thing.
It's beautiful.
And somebody was asking, like, oh, can you imagine what Jaylen Warren would do if Najee Harris left the team this year because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option in the offseason? And I literally wrote this back to them in text. I said the only question is if Jaylen Warren can keep his efficiency with more volume, right? Because if you average 6 yards a carry on 10 carries a game, that's great. That's the 60 yards. That's unbelievable. but it's much more difficult to average 6 yards a carry on 24 carries a game. And oftentimes, with greater volume comes less efficiency. Omarion Hampton had 40 touches and averaged 7 yards per. He had 35 carries and averaged 7 yards a carry. There's no reason not to give him the ball a bunch. He is a true old school, should have been playing football in like 2003 workhorse. Right? He's not Jahmyr Gibbs out there. He's not like, yeah, give me half the carries, I'll give you twice the explosion. He's like, I'm Sean Alexander. Give me the ball 40 times, and I'm going to punch him in the face enough that they fall over.
Do you worry about him wearing down?
I don't. No? First of all, he's still young.
He is, but still, man, it's a lot of. There's been a lot of work for him the last few weeks.
I agree. I'm not saying it's not a lot. I'm saying I haven't seen him slow down at any point in time.
It's fair.
And he is young, and he doesn't have, like, this year and last year he has a ton of carries. His freshman year, I think he had like 50 carries.
Yeah, because there's a couple guys already ahead of him.
Exactly. It's actually a beautiful thing in UNC's history. Since Mac Brown has taken over, they really haven't had this kind of season where they're just like, we're just going to give it to Omarion Hampton a ton. There was, like, even when they had Javonte Williams, they also had Michael Carter, and they could do the back and forth thing. I haven't seen Omarion Hampton slow down. So I'm not going to anticipate it. It's kind of the Secretariat thing. It's I know, and by the way, I'm not saying an actual Secretariat thing. I'm saying the Secretariat movie starring Diane Lane, that thing. No, sorry, not Secretariat, Seabiscuit, starring Tobey Maguire. There's this, like, movie magic moment where the jockey who had been riding Seabiscuit thinks he has a secret, so he tells the jockey gets hurt, can't ride him, so the next jockey calls him in and says, like, hey, run him hard. Don't slow him down. Don't pace yourself. This horse, if he runs fast once, he's going to run faster the next time. Every other horse needs to be managed. This one can just go. And it's like, all right, cool. And then the new jockey walks in the other room, and the trainer comes out. Trainer's like, hey, don't tell anyone. Don't slow him down. Don't pace him. Nobody else knows this. Just run. Just go. A couple minutes later, like, the owner comes down, like, hey, don't tell the trainer I told you this. He's never going to believe it. Don't slow him down. Don't pace him. Just run. I'm kind of looking at Omarion Hampton like, I get you running backs need to be paced. And what was it? In game number 10, they gave him 40 touches, and it was the best he'd been. Maybe not the best he'd been, but one of the 2 or 3 games that the best he's been. There wasn't any sign of slowing down.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome.
He did have a 5-touchdown game earlier, so different, right? Yards, touchdowns. Yeah. What are you looking for? What's your soup du jour? My point is, this team is now being hunted by Boston College, right? They are the team that's already bowl eligible. They are the team that has been playing better. They're on a 3-game win streak. Don't change it up. Don't think, well, we use Omarion Hampton when we're trying. He's our slingshot when we're David. You know what? Give the slingshot to Goliath. See what happens. Like, you can use the same strategy to try to come back from something else, or try to keep somebody else from coming back. It's a confusing way.